I remember finding out I was pregnant with my second child in the midst of all of that. Some people say, I'm glad that happened. It taught me this and that. I am by no means glad that happened. It was horrible. I cried myself on the way to work every single day.
Every owner has that in them, right? We're going to get there no matter what. You have to.
Nobody gets where they are by just finding an easy way out. So it's not all for nothing. If we didn't go through some of these times, we wouldn't really be like the business professionals that we are today.
I remember if we had a $20,000 day, it's like, holy shit, I'd jump off the roof. And then if we had a zero, it's like, oh, it's the end of the world.
So one of the questions I hear a lot of people say is, do you think anybody can own and run a business? And honestly, I really don't think that not everybody's got it in them.
Almost everything that we're doing is all mindset. Like it's all belief and it's all interpersonal communication. That's it.
Yeah, you absolutely have to learn in this business how to sell, own, value.
Looking into the future, what are you excited about and what do you have on your radar?
I am not threatened by... So the wildest thing that's ever happened to me since I became an insurance agent is that I opened my doors with my carrier in February of 2015 as a scratch agent with 0 customers. In August of that exact same year, my carrier threw out a 60% rate increase in my state. So the vast majority of the customers who had signed up with me for those 6 months canceled. And then they threw out tons of limited guidelines to where it was almost impossible to write any new business policies. So for the first 12 to 24 months of my agency ownership were back-to-back rate increases, probably close to 100% by the time it all evened out in those renewal cycles. And I couldn't write hardly any new business at all. And my husband and I were in the agency together. We had put all of our eggs in the same basket. There was no outside income coming in from anywhere else. And by the grace of God, we made it through. And here we are 10 and a half years later. We are still with the same carrier. We are, business is booming. We're doing phenomenal. And it's just a story of a miracle of a young 25-year-old girl who somehow made it through a really tough insurance cycle at the beginning of her career. And my name is Kathy Hitchcock at the Hitchcock Insurance Group in Rome, Georgia. And I am an insurance dudette.
Boom! That was incredible.
That's probably the best told story that has ever been done on this podcast.
No way. No way.
Oh,
nowhere near wild enough.
It sounds like this is the 1,000th episode, the way that this just came together.
I'm here.
I don't know if
this is season 4, Craig.
I am a dudette.
Season 4. This may be the first of season 4?
I don't know.
That's
totally
above my pay grade. I don't know. The execs handle that.
You're just the owner.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on around here.
Well, that is crazy. You know what? I love the story in the sense of a couple things. One is, who has not felt like that at some point? I mean, especially if you've been around for a while. I've been around for almost 10 years, and there has been a couple times where you feel like you're the most expensive, that your retention goes down to nothing. You know, like you just feel like you're circling the drain, which wasn't too long ago for me. But then also, what's crazy is the just the fact that like having all of your eggs in one basket, like that feeling, of being all in on this. You have nothing else, and you need to pull yourself out, which is crazy because it's also like a lot of our clients when they come in, the most successful clients that come in are the ones that feel like that. They're like, dude, I'm going to lose my agency in a few months if I don't make a drastic change. Those are the ones that have the most success because it's that go time. It's that like fire to the feet. It's either this or nothing.
Yeah.
And usually you learn your best lessons through that period of time.
When there's no plan B.
Yeah, your back's against the wall. You got to figure it out. You cannot fall on your face. There is simply no other option. I remember finding out I was pregnant with my second child in the midst of all of that. And I thought, well, here we are.
Done.
Here we are. And this is it. So, it is. It's a lesson. I look back on that. Some people say, I'm glad that happened. It taught me this and that. I am by no means glad that happened. It was horrible. I cried myself on the way to work every single day, but I made it through. So it built my confidence a little bit in myself to let me know, like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find a way to make it work.
I mean, there's seasons to everything, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm sure that just before all that started happening, it was feeling like a pretty good, nice spring, and it was party. You're like, summer's coming up. We got some money, and then cold winter, right?
Yeah. And, that's kind of what our staff have to learn the hard way, too, when they come in is this is a really cyclical business. And until you've been through it, you really don't get it because the kind of the notion coming into this is it's recession proof, it's pandemic proof, it's everybody's you got to have insurance because you're on the road, you're driving, or if you have a mortgage on your home that you got to have insurance. But that doesn't mean that your carrier wants new business all the time or wants the household
Jason
with
can speak
a
to that,
couple
I believe.
tickets. Yeah, probably so.
Oh yeah.
Little California struggle.
And the two things to that is one is you have to build your book to the size that I guess it's the whole premise of insurance, right? The law of large numbers. Like you have to have enough policies in the book to where it's like, okay, I'm losing some, but I still have some and we're still being able to cross sell and stuff like that. So you have to build it to a certain size. And the other thing, and there's so many agents that do this and there's so many agents that don't, but it's like in the season that you can, that you have the opportunity to grow, take the opportunity.
Don't buy depreciated assets. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying make hay while the sun shines because
it's like the human condition. Everything's great. I can take my foot off the gas, right? And then collapse. Right. Because you don't even see it. There's such a lag, right? A lot of folks are always looking at the lagging indicators when, on the other side of it, we need to be looking at the leading indicators, the ones that are actually going to make the difference, like the activity, right? I mean, you could be crushing it today and think, oh, and I'm guilty. And I know probably all of us are guilty is you're crushing it. Hey, you know what? I'm going to turn the leads down, not get quite as many leads, save a little money. And then a month later, you get wham, nothing. And you're like, oh no, what did I do?
It's
right.
A big
and then
slap.
it's this chasing game.
Yeah. The reminder is wild. I actually had somebody say that and people will tell you things and then all of a sudden, sometimes you're just in the mind frame to hear it. And so I purchased an agency at the beginning of this year and I basically doubled in size. I had a huge growth year last year. We probably grew I call it huge. We probably grew, and there was rate increases in there, but we probably grew about $3 million organically with very few producers last year.
Wow.
And so I was feeling like, you know what, I think I might can go about this organically. Like I think I might can just really throw all the cash flow into organic growth. And then I started, looking at book purchases because we were doing so well. I thought, well, now's the time because you never know when that dial's going to turn and like no 100%. Purchases. And I remember the broker selling the book said, look, you got to buy while you can because you never know, when the higher ups and the powers that be who make these decisions will just come in one day and say, all right, we're not writing in your state anymore.
I mean,
or we're not
even after
doing
they've
car
told
insurance.
you could buy,
Yeah,
they can tell you that you can't.
Yeah, they can do that.
Imagine that.
Yeah. So I agree with that sentiment. And I am a big advocate for the people who are able to purchase a book and they have the staff and the resources to handle it, as opposed to the organic, route, simply because they can flip their switch and make a choice to, change things in your area or change your guidelines or your rates at any point. And just having that cushion is a big, just peace of mind, really.
Kathy, have you kept your eye on the difference? Like, okay, you have your primary book that you've worked on and built, blood, sweat, and tears, and then you get the purchase. Have you separated it and then watched that and see what that, is the retention different? Like, talk a little bit about that, because it's not just, rainbows and unicorns when you buy another one, right? Because now you took on some debt and the debt doesn't go down, but
Right.
Often that retention dips a little bit after the purchase. There's a little attrition and all that. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, I wish, and to be honest with you, I am a very rigid kind of operational type watcher, but that is, although I did keep these specific 2 books separate, I have not kept a very close eye because we're running everything with the same team. I did not separate the team. So even if I saw that one book was having, maybe I don't think anything honestly is going to be super different because I have the same customer service team handling both books. I have the same sales team selling in both books equally. And so I'm just kind of watching right now, and I'm only 7 months in. And I did keep them separate for that reason, so that if I need to, sell off one, I can. But I've got the same team running everything, so I'm looking at my overall numbers, and my numbers are not bad. But I have very high standards, and we've always kept good numbers. And so anytime the least little bit slips, I'm kind of.
I mean, Georgia's just spectacular because your rates are, it's huge premium. So, you have Jason in California where it's probably $500 an item, and Arizona's pretty close, a little bit higher. I think we're getting maybe at 700, close to 800 sometimes.
Like 700.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. I don't know what the other states. I know that Texas is a big, talking point a lot. And I know Ohio is for the opposite reason, that they have very low premiums. But you would think with all this explanation to customers, why is my rate going up? Why is my rate going up? But it has. I mean, we have a lot of, Atlanta is just this spot where I think I read somewhere that Atlanta has more interstates coming through it in all different ways. So there are a lot of auto accidents, and the rates do tend to go up because of that.
That's where my grandparents are from.
Oh,
Atlanta.
fun. Hotlanta.
Yep, Hotlanta.
Well, if you're ever out here, you'll have to let me know.
I haven't been out there since I used to play drums touring with bands, and I remember Atlanta had a Del Taco. We have Del Taco in California, but Del Taco's nowhere else.
There's one in Tucson.
What's that?
There's one in Tucson.
Now?
It's been there since I was in college. I mean, it's been there a long time.
Oh, wow.
I mean, 10 years it's been since college. So
there you go.
And I remember putting up.
You believe that?
In our van, in our tour van, I put up the placemat in there to remind me of home.
Oh.
Yep. Little teenage boy not knowing what he was doing back then.
And then there was no In-N-Out anywhere else at that point.
Right.
Yeah. Now it's all over the place.
A lot of Waffle Houses.
We have a lot of those.
Nah.
Well, cool. I want to kind of go back to that beginning where you were I mean, I think we've all been there. Well, it's maybe not as extreme, but like you're crying every day. You've started this new agency. People are leaving left and right. They raise the rates. The walls are caving in. How do you dig yourself out of that? Like, how did you get out of that situation?
Honestly, grit. And I know that's kind of cliche to say, but I will put my work ethic up against anybody. And that's what did it, because I didn't even have a team. It was my husband and I opened the agency together. We had his sister. We hired her on day one as a customer service representative. We didn't even have the first customer. So she spent a lot of time doing telemarketing and sending us people to quote. And we just worked tooth and nail quoting, because the close rate was very low because no one qualified and the rates were outrageous. So it was nearly impossible. I mean, I remember closing probably 40 to 50 items a month, and it probably took the work of closing for both of us probably what would be 300 or 400 items a month now, but we couldn't close. It was just very hard to close business during that time because no one qualified or the rates were, too high. And honestly, just that work ethic, I listen to a lot of business podcasts, and one of the questions I hear a lot of people, say is, do you think anybody can own and run a business? Like, can anybody do it if they just, and honestly, I really don't think that. I think that that not everybody's got it in them. And if you cannot, kind of put your nose down and blinders on and wear 10 million hats during the day at work while also going back home and then walking into your house and acting like everything's fine when you get home, making dinner, going, school drop off the next morning, crying on your way to work between school drop off and work, and then coming in and
go there.
Yeah. So, I think that it took a lot, and it took a lot mentally, and it was very stressful, but,
if you were talking to yourself back then, because I think a lot of people find themselves in this position at some point, something like this kind of like, it's either all in or all out. Like I'm, like I'm going to lose it. Like, what were the tangible steps? Like what were those things that got you to the next level, and what levels were those that kind of like the stepping stones out into the position that you're in now?
One thing I think that matters a lot is just having a really good support system. And I just don't think everybody has that. So like, if you don't have an A player spouse or a good home life, it's going to be really hard for you to go into work and still be able to put your best foot forward at work, because the stuff that really matters in the thick of things isn't right, and that was one thing that I do have and have had is, my husband and we walked in every single day, hand in hand. Okay, let's pound it out. Like, here we are. And we had a really great support system at home with childcare. I didn't have to necessarily worry about, getting my kids from school to daycare, strangers watching them and things like that. So I was able to kind of focus on the business by knowing that my kids were with family members and grandparents and stuff like that. And so honestly, if I think if it hadn't been for just being in a really stable marriage, good home life, very peaceful life outside of work, it would have been really hard to turn on, I guess, that mentality walking into the office, because I would have been struggling elsewhere. And so that was helpful. And I'll tell my kids, I'll tell everybody, the biggest decision that you could possibly make in your life is who you choose to marry. And it just matters in every aspect of your life. So that was good. And so it made it okay. We were working alongside each other. We had his sister there. There wasn't this I think it also matters, just going a step further than that, is be careful who you hire, and don't hire out of desperation, and don't hire people that maybe give you bad vibes, but you're just desperate, and that's one thing that I've always tried not to do, is like, if I don't have a good feeling about somebody, or I don't feel like I could go to dinner and enjoy my evening with them, then I don't hire them, because I'm not one of these people that can just turn on one face at work and then leave. And, I really need to get along with the people I work alongside. This was 2015 and 16. Nobody was working remotely, or we weren't, at least. I mean, I'm sure there were people working remotely, but we were all in the office. And so it really mattered to me just having people at work that I could count on, that I knew were there, who cared about the business. And then having people in my home life who cared about wanting to make sure we were okay.
Yeah. You got to remove that drama, right? Because you get the drama people coming in, and you're just like, it just
draining.
Makes it, it's draining. It makes you not want to go to the place that you own, right? You're just,
yes.
Like, and
yeah. And females are bad. I mean, I'm a female and I can say it. I mean, females are rough.
I would never say that.
I know.
No, I would never say that. But
I know. I can say it. I'm one of them. I'm difficult myself. I'm complicated too.
I think every owner is, though. I mean, every owner has that in them, right? Like like we're gonna get there no matter what. You have to, right? That's the first. The first part of this, and even like hearing your story, is that you committed. You committed to doing this no matter what. You committed, like, I'm going to make this work. And I feel like I can hear it in an agent's voice when they might like come into our program or something like that, where I know they won't make it, where it's like they're not committed. They're like looking at other things, like, oh yeah, I don't know if it's going to work out, kind of like the talk isn't all in,
Yeah, there's no silver bullet. And a lot of people think there are, and they try several things, and those things help, put a Band-Aid on it sometimes. But nobody gets where they are by just finding an easy way out, And then within that, personal growth and professional growth comes. So it's not all for nothing. If we didn't go through some of these times, we wouldn't really be like the business professionals that we are today. We learn a lot in those times. I know, y'all have both had that. And Jason, y'all have been through a tough few years in California. I know it, and you've probably learned and kind of developed your skill set even more through learning pivoting skills and things like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I almost sold. I'm like,
he was angry.
I definitely had that talk, couple, last year, and it was, but yeah, I mean, then I had that coming to God moment of like, you're either all in or all out. And I'm like, all right, well, then I suck right now because I'm not all in, so.
Yeah. And there's those moments too. You have to give yourself grace. And I'm not good at that. I'm not good at it, but we have to. I mean, we can't beat ourselves up all the time, and nothing lasts forever. And even if we did, even if you sold and decided to go another route, you've still got all this experience and that you've learned along the way, all these lessons and the brand that you've built. So, but you're right. You do have to be all in or all out, because on the fence is really where, that's honestly one of the most toxic places and dangerous places to be, is waking up every day and I'd rather just check out and move on with my life, or stay in and move forward with a lot of, tenacity, than wake up every day doing something different, because then I'm stagnant, right? I don't get anywhere.
That's how you go crazy.
There was a quote, something about it's easier to be 100% than it is 98%, because that 2% leaves so much. Yeah, it messes with your head so much. I'm ADHD, so I need to either be that's how I am. I'm like, I'm either all in. I'm either not eating carbs.
Yeah.
I'm not eating bread, or
very
A pizza for every
extreme.
meal.
Yes. Yes. But honestly, I mean, a lot of a lot of successful professionals are like that, and they have that discipline to kind of stick with it once they make up their mind. And that's what helps them, be really successful, is like like you said, I'm either, on this meal plan or I'm not. And, if you can hyper focus, ADHD can be a really great trait to have in business because of the hyper focus aspect, is what I've learned.
There's a much higher percentage, I think, of folks that have ADHD that are entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Number one, we're not employable. Number two,
No.
right?
I would be the worst.
We'll go.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. Oh shit, I'm doing this thing, right? Like, you're 150%.
Exactly. No
To
thoughts,
the
just
detriment
go.
sometimes of relationships and things, but that's the learning part. We're all on that journey.
Yeah.
My toughest thing, and I think, probably the reason I put here, is to learn balance. And it's a struggle, right? Because
that's the flip side, right? Like, you can go all in on your job, on your work, and you can become super successful. But then it's like, what about at home? What about with your family? What about it's like, well, then there's like too much stuff. And then it's like, okay, I need to learn how to be able to clock in and clock out at certain places.
Very difficult, and I think also why most the normies can't handle this like doing this, right, is because they want to check out. They want to turn off the noise and just do their thing at home, right? Boop, the whistle went.
Yeah.
Time to chill. And it's like, dude, I mean, it's never time to chill. I have another idea and I've got to freaking write it down or go find something to put it on. And, so there's always something. The committee is always working up here.
Always. It doesn't ever turn off. I'm sure the Notes app on y'all's phones looks about like mine, because it's like I'll open it, I'll give it a little heading, type out some ideas.
We have shared notes. You should see those.
Yeah, I bet. But also on the same note is, just on that topic, is I think entrepreneurs have to have a little bit of OCD, like obsessive, because it would be also very hard to run a good business if you're not kind of obsessed with it, like in all the aspects. Like, I want my customer experience to be great. I want my sales to be high. I want my marketing to be perfect. I want, the development within my office to be on point. I want the culture correct. And like you said, Craig, like, we're always just throwing these ideas around. And what I've learned about myself, I got on myself for several years about work-life balance, and okay, I just need to, go home and do it. And I realized that's just not me. I'm just not built in a way that I can just turn it off when I walk in the door. And so now it's more about, like, and I'm sure y'all have heard this, more work-life harmony. And so, we take our kids on a lot of really great trips, as I'm sure you take your family. That's one thing about owning a business, running a business. We're able to travel. We're able to do some fun things. But I tell my kids, like, look, you see this place, you see this hotel, you see this resort, like, it's not free. So it's the sacrifice is I'm going to have to get up and work for a couple hours in the morning before we hit the activities, because that's just what comes with this gig. And if it weren't for this harmony, we wouldn't even be able to go to a place like this, And so I'm sure y'all have ran into that too, just taking your family somewhere. Like, you're never just, the whole time you're gone, just this carefree, forgetting about what's back at the office.
I'm in San Diego 6 months and I'm in the garage, because if I go sit out and look at the ocean the whole time, then I'm just going to sit out and look at the ocean the whole time, right? I need to be in here where the best thing is the computer. You might
get inspired. You might have some really cool ideas hit you while you're out there. Just
quite a bit too.
Yeah, it might spark some creativity. Maybe the garage. I don't know. Whatever's your thing, Craig.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like this garage.
I like being at work, so I enjoy working. I enjoy my desk. I know that's weird, but I do. I'm kind of a workaholic.
Yeah, I found myself at like 2022 or 2021. Where we were doing we're doing this podcast, we're doing the teledudes. We were doing our agencies, and everything was growing, and it was like so much stuff. And we got this EOS to like kind of unwind everything, right? To make everything a little bit more streamlined. And that whole process, definitely, like, we figured out how to really streamline everything to where we're not doing that much.
Okay. So that's very interesting.
Yeah. But then I realized, yeah, the realization for me was, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I like to do, even though I don't have to do it. I definitely shouldn't be the bottleneck in it. It shouldn't be like, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Right.
But I like doing a lot of stuff. So like, my part of what I like to do is work on stuff, you know, and I'm a builder. So removing myself completely from some stuff was not a good thing for me. I did not like it. And it almost created self-doubt, and like you wonder, I don't know, like
maybe some depression, maybe a little. Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. So I like being able to, you know, have the business run without me, but I like working. I just do. I like working.
It's kind of like a hobby.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, there's that point in agency ownership where you're doing everything and you're also an LSP, basically, right? Where you're on the phone, you're talking to clients. And I remember when I said, okay, I'm not going to, I remember talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, but, you know, another agent that was really doing well, and I wasn't doing that awesome. And I'm like, but I work 40 hours a day, you know, I don't understand. And he's like, you can't talk to like, you're at the point now where you can't talk to them. If you talk to them, it takes all your time. You need to spend your time working on it, right? Work on the business, not in the business. And like turning that off was very difficult, you know, like, and I mean, for even until fairly recently, I think I still had a couple that were friends that would text me still about their stuff. I'm like, look, I love you, but no, you got to call the office. Like, I don't even know how to log in anymore.
You have to have that boundary.
I don't want to, right? Like,
yeah.
But I mean, it is like nobody died. It still works, you know? Maybe it's not 99% or whatever, you know, wherever I had it, it might be at 80%, but I have 100% more time.
Yeah. If somebody can do it at 80%, let them do it. You know what I mean? And then just go spend your time finding another person to go do it, and let your efforts work on compounding stuff instead of the very, you know, granular. I mean, hire other people to do the things that they can do, and you go work on the things they can't do, that you can't hire out, you know.
And contrary to our own belief, we're not the best at everything. So we would
think we are. I mean, you ask, ask anybody around here, and yeah, I get it. We like to think that, but there are people who, I mean, there's better sales. I mean, I've found people who I'm like, dang, I really like the way you worded that. I never thought about it that way. Yeah. And, you know, you're like, okay, maybe I don't know it all.
Yeah. You let go a little, and all of a sudden you start learning some stuff.
Yeah. I agree. And that's really when, I think when you can kind of start. I was listening to a Grant Cardone podcast this morning where he was just talking about how you kind of graduate from salesperson to business person. And so the skill sets that I'm working on now, and that I've been in, you know, kind of the trenches with the past several years, which I'm sure, you know, y'all are the same way, is like, you know, the sales stuff, I'm kind of graduated from that now. It's not really what I'm doing on the day to day, but I'm learning skill sets now that really help the business grow. And that's what I need to be doing. And that's the fun stuff, like you said, Jason, where you like to be doing it, because that's kind of our creative outlet in a way, I think.
100% the creative. I used to do graphic design and play in bands, and I love I always hated business stuff. I hated school and stuff like that. But like, yeah, when you start working on the business and you're not the bottleneck, and now you can start looking at it holistically and like, you know, how can we move stuff around and make this work, and where can we take this money and reinvest it either in the business or outside of the business and grow it, and like, you're just more of a strategic creative type person. It's really fun.
It is, and it's challenging in a way that it's the same. I mean, it's the same ongoing, challenges, but it's also a new challenge every day, and new things come up every day, and that's why I really like podcasts so much. I think it's awesome that y'all have this podcast for insurance agents. You're talking about insurance because we can log on to the business podcast, but some of the stuff doesn't apply to us. We don't have a singular item that we sit on a shelf and sell, so we need things that are very topic specific and particular to our industry. And I love that you all offer this to the insurance community because it's kind of this little world that we get, that we can talk to like-minded individuals, learn and grow together.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's crazy of the intangibility of what we do.
True.
I mean, we don't have inventory. We're selling a promise. We're not, I mean, it's a piece of, I would say a piece of paper, but it's not even a piece of paper these days.
Right. It's a paperless contract. Yeah.
So almost everything that we're doing is all mindset. Like it's all belief and it's all interpersonal communication. That's it.
Yeah.
And then it's just all the head garbage that comes with that and making sure that that doesn't veer you off or get you sideways. And
well, yeah. And Kathy, you were talking about it like call after call when your rates double, trip, whatever, right? Like it was so ridiculous. Like many people will go, oh, like they'll quote them and go, oh, you know what, we're triple or whatever. But I'm sure that because it was that case every time, you had to get used to delivering the news that it's 4,500 for your Pinto, right? And they're like, what? And you go, well, and you worked through that and became so much better at selling, and then now probably so much better at coaching your team so that they can do it. Because it's so critical, like to always take those swings at the bat, right? A lot of people, and Jason's heard it from one of my guys. He's not with me anymore, probably because of this, but he would do that. He'd go, oh, we're double, so you're probably not gonna, it's like, what are you doing, man? I mean, if you ask enough people and we're double, some of them are going to buy.
Yeah, they're going to see some value, or they're going to be that turned off by their prior company, or they're going to be that mad at, or they're just going to like you enough. Yeah, you absolutely have to learn in this business how to sell on value. And I heard many, many years ago that, salespeople, they can either say, like there's among many, many ways, there's two kind of ways that salespeople sell. Either they sell based on relationship building where, you ask all the questions about their family and their occupation and, things like that. You get to know them, you become friends. Or you can sell by way of having just a really, polished product knowledge. And that was kind of the way I was. Like, I'm a real type A person, and I really am ready to just, move and shake. And so I did not necessarily spend a whole lot of time on the phone with people asking them a bunch of personal questions about themselves, but I had a way of being able to explain our products in a way that conveyed the value and how things work. I knew, insurance laws and policy and, things like that so well that I earned that trust that, hey, if something happens, I think she knows how it's going to shake out. I kind of want her on my side. And so, yeah, just kind of piggybacking off, you have all these conversations and you've got to be able to bring something to the table because your price, it may be double, it may be triple, but, we've got a killer customer service team. I would put our team up against anybody. I mean, we will advocate for you, and we also know how things work. And, you can't talk yourself out of a sale. I mean, we've all said, don't sell out of your own pocket. Don't sell out of your own pocket. You're putting yourself in a bad position from the get-go.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, people are going to buy.
Yeah, it's a law of large numbers, and in some cases, to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a sport. Like I really relate it to a sport, especially from not having a sales team, get back to rebuilding a sales team. So like when you don't have a sales team and then you got to start again in a market that like everybody says that sucks, it's like there's no one to believe.
It's so daunting,
except
isn't
everything sucks, right? Like, so like when we were building up and it like over this last year, it was, I really realized it's like, it's such a sport in the sense where 9 out of 10 people say no.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like 9 out of, I mean, I don't even know what we're closing here right now. It's not 10, fantastic, 12.
10, 12.
But it's less than it was, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like half it. We're selling half as much as we used to, just because they had a giant rate increase. Whatever. Regardless,
you're like, I'm just happy I can sell now.
Yeah,
yes, 100%. But like, it's just managing the no's. Like the whole job of an LSP is like, if they're even getting 2 sales a day and they're making a couple 150 calls a day and they're quoting 8 people, like almost nothing's a 1-call close.
Yeah.
So if they're quoting 8 people a day, 8 to 10, they're hearing all no's. It's just all no's. So then it's like, of course, they're not going to operate at 100% every day hearing all no's. We're feeling-based creatures. So the feeling that they're going to get is this sucks. So then it's just managing this sucks to like, hey, you're putting in the reps. Let's get this. You're doing good on this.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
working out. Yeah.
Yes. 100%. So it's like, when it comes to sales, I just tell everybody like don't look at like, there's not a good person, there's not a perfect script necessarily, but I mean really favor comes to those willing to put in the reps, and just put in the reps. That's it. That's all that matters. Like guaranteed you'll make 1 or 2 sales a day. If you're getting 8 to 10 quotes, you're guaranteed to get 1 to 2 sales a day.
Yeah, just put the work in, talk to people. I mean, I am favorable of this career. I tell people when they come to interview, this is not going to be like selling cars or selling real estate. Like we're going to give you a base pay and we're going to give you leads. And all you got to do is talk. Like I will literally give you a tool belt just stacked with all the best tools. I'll give you a super competitive salary. I'll give you the benefits. I'll give you a great employee value proposition. I will give you, paid time off. I'll give you work from home, a great desk, a great office culture. But this is going to get grindy sometimes, but just talk to people, follow the talk path, and you can make a lot of money and you can move on to grow in other ways. I mean, maybe you want to open your own business one day. I'll help you do that. And so, there's a lot of different sales out there, but I would rather be sitting in an office, talking on the phone, just chit-chatting with people about something I'm knowledgeable about, than to be out in the hot sun or the freezing cold rain trying to walk and show somebody a Kia Spectra or a house that I've got to put muck boots on to walk to get to the front door and then go in there with these people I don't even know and show them around. I mean, it's not a bad gig if you ask me.
Right.
It can be very rewarding.
It's just that quantity. I think that's the tough, like really tough for him, right? It's because it takes so many deals to actually make some money in this game, right?
Yeah, it does. But
that's the tough part.
Yeah, and that's again with the cyclical. I mean, in a couple years, California or other states that are having a hard time right now could be on a totally different trajectory, and it's the skills that you built in that time of kind of things being down. If you can't, you really have to sell on value during those down times, because that's all you have, right? And so then when they turn it green again, then you're ready to rock and roll.
Right. You just got to be consistent, and then the swings don't move as much, right?
They don't hurt you as
sine
badly.
wave kind of flattens out. And I mean, I remember we used to, if we had a $20,000 day, it's like, holy shit, I'd jump off the roof. And then if we had a 0, it's like, oh, it's the end of the world. Right. Yeah. And it's like, I obviously look at the numbers, but not like I used to. And I don't have the emotional response that I used to, because as long as they're doing the activity, in fact, I'm more concerned with, did they all do 10 quotes, right? Did they all quote 10 households today? Yeah. No. How come she only did 4? Yeah. Right. Like, what's going on there? So because I know that if she only quotes 4, she's either closing a bunch of stuff and neglecting the activity that needs to be done, or just not doing anything. And either way, it's not going to be good. Right. And that they can control their cycle too. Yep. I think early on in an LSP's career, it's really important to help them understand, like, you can't, like, you closed 3 things today. Great. You still need the activity, or in 3 weeks, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're only as good as that last sale, because, I mean, it is the business of sales. It's just like, how we, a month ends and then the ticker turns back to 0. The year ends and we're like, what did last year do? Like, okay, we're past it. We gotta win again. And so I have a friend who, I think a lot of agents count activity for their team. They look at, what did you sell? What did you quote? Who'd you call? What was your talk time? And things like that. And I have a friend who doesn't even look at the sales. He looks at the quotes and the talk time, because that is ultimately the factor that's going to determine your success. If you come in at 8:30 or 9 o'clock and you closed, a 3-car home policy, that's great, but then what? Okay, we got to make, it's just that mind frame. And
all you did then was finish the work from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, or 3, right, exactly. Your you followed up on your pipeline. Great job, but now let's refill that person that just fell out of the pipeline.
You need a new one in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was, even like owning and running it. It took a while to understand that. And, we have so many agents that we've talked to and helped, and it's like, oh, it's always this like, aha, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, the sales don't matter. They matter, of course, but they don't matter in the sense that you need to focus on them. You need to focus on what they're doing, because if they're not doing, the sales ain't ever going to happen,
Right. And you guys have, several arms within your business. And so you're able to help them keep their pipeline going, right, with the leads and the telemarketing and stuff like that. And so, and that's what we're, that's what we're getting to is, we don't really, I mean, my salespeople still call, but for the most part, I want them quoting. Like, you've got this skill set and this license. And I think, y'all have said it before. I've heard y'all say it before. Don't put your best, most skilled people on the phone calling 100 and 200 calls a day. Let them quote. Give somebody else the phone to call. And so it's awesome that you have solutions for what you're preaching too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our whole business started because, I mean, we were doing it. We were talking about it. People started coming and going, hey, how do you do it? And we're like, oh, I guess we have a business. Yeah. And then COVID happened. And it actually helped because people were home. Yeah, right? They were home. Like, it was the unlucky consequence of COVID was the contact rate went through the roof. I bet. And people were so bored. They're like, sure, I don't have anything else to do. Yeah. I've already grown everything I can grow in my house. What all the weird, wacky crap that people were doing during COVID. All of a sudden they're like, okay, I'll get a quote.
Or they're so lonely that they were like, yeah, I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it. And that's been awesome. And that's what, it's what we want. Right. So I'm sure I'm hoping that, I don't know what, y'all's ratios are and how it works to how many calls to quotes and things like that. But, the main thing is, providing a solution for agents and salespeople to take that off their plate. It makes it less grindy for the sales team, and you're just providing people, hey, here's somebody to quote, here's the next person to quote. And that helps, I think, with staff retention, I would think, and hope.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you heard this. I've said it a bunch of times, but the quick story, and I'll just touch on it, is I've had somebody, my top producer, who could not get there on time. And it's like, it's one of those things. I'm terrible at getting on time. It's part of the ADHD, but but for that job, and because there's a team, you got to be on time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it affects everybody. There's a meeting, you know, then you come in late. It's just like, you don't get to do whatever you want. And she was given an ultimatum, and she said, oh, that's it. I'm leaving then. And she left. And I said to my ops manager, I just said, she'll be back, because in Tucson, there's nobody else that is doing the way that we do.
Yeah.
You know, it gives the leads, they don't have to prospect, right? All they have to do is follow up on their quotes.
Yeah.
And, you know, she came back. So
you called it. Yeah. At this
back.
point, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You
she
know what's
came
out
back
there.
and she told everyone how terrible it is out there, which is
Good
great.
for
right?
you.
I know. Employee
Good
retention,
for you.
because the cost of that psychologically, and when you get in that trap, you know, we touched on it earlier, but it's like going, oh, you know, I have the person that I need to get rid of, but I can't get rid of them because I don't have anybody lined up. And if I get rid of them, then I'm going to hire somebody that is just like them because I'm in a rush, and, you know, that whole thing. Can't have that cycle.
I know. And I had a few people leave a few months ago, and, you know, the insurance, that what's out there now is very different now. They can go find something else, and there may be a bigger base pay and less leads, or there may be, you know, maybe a bigger, base pay out here, or something. I don't pay a huge base pay. Mine is very heavily commission. And, but I'm trying to give them literally everything else in terms of everything for you to quote all day long. And, anyway, I redid everything. I had a real, moment where I sat down, and I kind of had that moment like you had, Craig, where you were thinking, okay, go find something. Okay, if you think the grass is greener, go find it.
Have fun.
I had to ask myself, is the grass greener? I don't know. And so I really took a moment. I redid my comp plan. I got several agents' comp plans, top agents in the country, and I redid my comp plan to make sure that mine was competitive with whatever else they might be able to find. I redid my whole benefits package to where now I offer a professional development stipend. I offer a work-life balance, a volunteer, a networking, you know, health insurance, life insurance, dental, you know, just whatever you could possibly want from a job, retirement, you know, the paid time off. And I upped my marketing, and I said to myself, I'm going to make sure that I feel confident as I'm interviewing to replace these positions that I have one of the best offerings now that they'll find anywhere. And I think that's important for agents to be able to look at their whole package and feel good about what they're offering, to where you can have that attitude like you had, Craig, to where if someone does leave and they feel like they can find it better somewhere else, good luck, you know, because you've got it set up to where you're trying to offer them a silver platter.
I love that you called it an offering too, because it really is like they're investing with you. Mm-hmm. They're deciding on whether they're going to spend time with you for the next couple years or maybe even longer. So it's like, what are you offering them? Like, what is, like, you're selling them basically, mm-hmm. right? And it's just crazy to me how many people don't put much time into that thought. Like, what is the benefit? What is the offer that you're offering? You know, somebody new to join you. I don't think people look at it like that.
I mean, it's the biggest cost and the biggest impact on your revenue is your team. If you're constant turnover, all that lost revenue that would have happened if the team was solid. I mean, it's staggering, right? Like it's a killer.
Yeah. When you sit down and you look at it all, and it makes me feel good to know that I'm taking care of people as well, because these folks have families and children and spouses, and I want to offer something that that they can feel, because you know, you can interview 100 people and they're all on a job search for a different reason. So it could be pay, It could be culture. It could be, I hear this a lot. There's no growth opportunities where I'm at. I've kind of reached the end of where I can get to, or, my coworkers or my management is just kind of toxic or things. So everybody's looking for something really different. And so by offering something that, you feel like you can check mark this box, this box, this box, it's really invaluable, whatever it costs you to be able to offer and get solid A players, good quality candidates. What the quality candidates bring to the table will offset whatever you spend trying to make it appealing to them.
And also, I think not looking for that unicorn, right? Like in the past, I was so focused on finding the best producer possible, but you can take somebody who's average, like that is willing to put in the reps and give them all the tools like you suggested, right? Like if you give them everything, somebody who's can really do well.
Yeah.
Right. If they have the right environment, they have the right tools, they could, because it's not rocket science, right? It's talking to people. If you could talk to people and you can do it every day consistently, you're going to make money. I'm sure you have it too. Like we all have people making six figures. 10 years ago, thinking that I would pay somebody six figures to work for me seemed impossible.
Wild.
I was like, no way, right? No way. And now it's like, hell yeah. Because if they're making 100 or they're making more, whatever, that they're creating a lot of revenue.
Yeah,
right?
they're helping. Yeah, exactly.
They're growing the book.
Right, exactly. And thankfully, we're in an industry with recurring revenue. So even if we do maybe lose a little money on the front end, if we do, we're going to be okay. You know what I mean? And we just want to make sure that, because at this point, and this wasn't even a thought 10 years ago either, was I can have, like any of us could have somebody leave and go to the job board and they can work anywhere in the U.S. Whereas, 10, 15 years ago, it was like, oh, the agents in my town aren't going to be able to do what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, all they have to do is hit up the job boards and
they work anywhere.
Yeah. And who knows, like we were talking about before, the grass isn't always greener. There's always going to be something, but you do have to, you're competing with the whole country now, not just your town.
Yeah. George, how many people does George have that aren't in Ohio? Like multiple people, right? I think
so. Yeah. He's 100% remote, right?
Yeah. He has 20 or something producers now. It's crazy, but yeah, the first person that the first person we met and became a client that's still with us. He has 20 producers, 30 callers. Like it's insane. I'm like,
wow.
You're young. He's younger. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah. It's a full-time job. Just,
I like six producers is great. That's good. You can write 200. Everything's fine.
You can manage. Yeah. You can manage that. Once you get above that, then you kind of need additional. You have to start expanding, which in order to keep up, and especially, with some carriers, they're offering more on the front end so that it is more enticing to go about it that way. Whereas, the old comp plans didn't really incentivize you to go have 30 salespeople.
Right.
But now in most states, carriers are kind of switching over to that model where they're paying more on the front end because they want to incentivize, the agents to have a big sales team.
Mm-hmm. And it works. The numbers pencil, it's just whether or not
it's just a job. It's a job. Managing people is something, and that's another thing too, that I didn't realize when I first opened my agency, is just because you're a good salesperson does not equal great business owner or great manager or great leader. Those were skill sets I didn't have.
It's almost right until you learn it.
You have to learn it. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's psychology.
It is. It's all psychology. And, I'm sure you've had these people. You may have been this person. I know I was. When I was selling, I didn't want to have water cooler talk. I did not want to catch up, in the afternoons on, how did, your daughter's birthday party go last Saturday.
Oh,
like I was
like
there to work, to take home my money bag and go, And so when you switch it to, okay, now you've actually got to ask people how their day was. And when they come to you with their problem, you got to like figure it out. Instead of telling them, oh, I don't know, go do that, and sometimes the best salespeople are like that. That's why they say the best salespeople don't equal the best managers. That's why you don't always promote your top salesperson either, because the people skills may not be there. I'm sure y'all have ran into that before.
Yeah. Well, one of my really close friends said to me, or asked me, who's your number one employee, or I'm sorry, your number one customer? And the answer that I've already now just given is your employee, right? and it was like, whoa, wait a minute, and I thought, I'm really good at talking to people, on the phone that were, trying to do business, but then I don't want to talk to these guys. But when I thought of it as, oh, they literally are my number one customer. If I make them happy and make them good and they buy in, then it's leverage, right? Mm-hmm. So I started thinking of it like that. If they didn't work for me, but they're a customer, how do I approach them differently? How do you treat them? Yeah. Right? And then you treat them totally differently. And, then you just learn it. I mean, it's pretty cool, right? Because you just have to, you got to get them pumped. Leading like Darth Vader doesn't work anymore, right?
And that's what the whole idea of or maybe management years and years ago. That's the only managers I ever had, was people who just kind of, were like mad if you didn't do this, or if you caught, it just all kind of things. I never really had a great manager, and I think that's what really motivated me to become a leader that people could trust and talk to, is because I had such bad management when I was an employee. But also this idea of servant leadership, they don't work for me. I work for them. I truly do. That is, I'm not going over quotes anymore, but it's my job to now cater and make sure our team is happy. And that's the best leaders, right? Is the ones who truly have that heartfelt, genuine care and authenticity for their team members. And they're not, I remember when I worked for, the agent that I was working for before opening our agent, I just felt like I was just a number. I felt like I had a dollar sign written on my forehead. It did not matter what was going on. She could not have cared less about me as a person, right? She didn't even know me as a person. She never cared, she just wasn't that type of leader. And so I aspire to be somebody that, that looks at my team. I don't even like to say my employees. I don't even like that. They're my team. They're my coworkers. You know what I mean? They're family. You probably feel like that with yours, and you've probably learned.
Usually.
Yeah, most of them, right? And I'm sure they feel the same about you.
What would you say, like, especially now? Everybody, it's funny because every time we ask this question, over the years, it's like there's all this stuff looming in the future, and then it's all kind of the same anyways. But like, looking into the future, what are you excited about, and what do you have on your radar?
So, I'm a little behind on this compared to most, but I am not super threatened by AI. As the more I learn about it, I think it's going to make us be able to be very efficient. I think the relationship component is gonna be in the insurance. I think insurance shoppers are gonna prefer a real human to talk to. just as a side story, I've been trying to get, there's a particular process that I am trying to get some information on implementing, in which case I've got to get some information from several vendors in order to do that. And I'm reaching out to these vendors as a potential paying customer, and I cannot get answers. They don't answer the phone. They do not return calls. They do not return emails. They do not answer a chat box. I mean, and it's very frustrating and makes me really, really value the businesses that I frequent who care, who I'm having human interactions with. And so although I do not see anything on the very near future of AI replacing anything, I think it will help make things a lot more efficient. And I'm excited to see that. And one thing too that I am just now, and again, I'm very behind, but I have just started in the remote world this year. And so I've got some staff working remotely. And I do think to myself, like, because I own my office building, or I have a mortgage on it. And so I think often, like, okay, for what I'm paying for this mortgage, what else could this pay for to make our team better? And so maybe money is going to be better spent in different places rather than brick and mortar, and rather than being in person, and rather than, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still kind of behind. I know these are things that y'all have been doing for a while now, but I don't know. I'm curious to kind of see where those things take me personally.
Yeah, I love that. Craig and I have talked a lot about AI and stuff, and AI is definitely going to replace some stuff, not necessarily people, but activities, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that because there's like the AI world, and now there's humans, so humans just need to be better at being human.
Yeah.
If even with my team, I tell them like the best use of your time is actually talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, if you're behind the computer just typing in stuff, like
what makes you different?
We can automate that.
Yeah.
At some point, right? Like 5 years from now, that's not going to be a skill. But like 5 years from now, actually talking to you is going to be awesome. So it's like, just get better at that.
Yeah.
Like, talk to people more. That's it.
Yeah, and I think I don't really know, but I have heard the speculation that as AI gets more advanced and as we're using AI more, and you'll talk to these people and you call them and they're kind of untrustworthy now. I think that might amplify, because you could have these voices say anything, and they're not going to know, am I giving my credit card to the right?
It could be your dad on the phone and it sounds exactly like him.
Yeah.
Right?
Saying the same. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Right. So it could be a theory that human interaction and being able to prove that you're a real person becomes maybe even more prevalent. Right now, it's just kind of the elderly generation that's kind of untrusting and wants to know who are you? How'd you get my, those are the things we hear right now. But
who is this?
Right, exactly. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think we need to be kind of ready and prepared for anything. Because just the pace in which things have changed since COVID almost seems to amplify. I was listening to something the other day that was just saying how fast things changed, just looking over the different decades in the 1900s. And then when COVID hit, it was like decades of fast forward all within a year, 2 years, 3 years. And so I think there's pros and cons to it all, but it's how we use it. We got to make sure we're adapt with those skills to be able to have the knowledge of how to use AI and use it to our advantage.
Love it. Well, Kathy, you've been awesome. And thank you for going the distance with us today.
Distance over an hour.
Really, really appreciate this. Any final thoughts before we get back to work?
Well, for me, it's almost time to go home. I'm on the East Coast, so
Oh, that's right.
yeah, it's 4:30 here. So no, I appreciate you guys having me. Y'all are always fun and entertaining, and again, I appreciate what you do for the insurance community with just putting this information out there so that other people in the industry can learn and share and just collaborate together. It's been fun. It's been a great time talking to y'all.
Awesome.
Been great talking to you.
Talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kathy. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.